researched water in cure of peptic ulcer disease, and after treating 3,000 or more cases, I realized that these people were thirsty, and we have labeled thirst as a disease condition. I needed to find out why. All of a sudden it occurred to me that the pharmaceutical industry insists on blocking the action of histamine in peptic ulcer disease. That's why they've got H2 blockers, and such as Tagamet and Zantag. Why are they doing this, I said. And I started researching. Immediately I discovered that histamine is the main neurotransmitter in charge of water regulation and drought management programs of the body. So whatever action histamine is taking in the body, it is to cope with drought. So whatever symptoms it's producing are symptoms of dehydration and drought. That was the breakthrough in my work, and that is what I presented at the anti-cancer conference in 1987. And I explained that dehydration is the origin of pain and disease, including cancer. And when I made that presentation, and they published it in this journal, I was invited by scientific secretariat of the Third Interscience World Conference on Inflammation to present this view of histamine at their conference in 1989. I went there, and this is what I produced, that histamine is a neurotransmitter in charge of water regulation in the body, and we should not treat dehydration with medications, but with water, because water is the best natural antihistamine there is, and salt is the best natural antihistamine. So whatever I'm explaining to you in this lecture has been presented at various conferences and international gatherings. There are three different histamine-producing cells, basically. As a neurotransmitter, the brain cells, some aspects of the brain cells are producing histamine. Then we have the mast cells, and then we have basophils that circulate. Mast cells are basically stationary histamine-producing cells, and basophils are the ones that circulate in blood. But by the virtue of possessing histamine-producing properties, they're all to be considered as neurons, as brain cells or extensions of brain cells. So mast cells become brain cells locally, and it has been shown that also nerve grows towards them. So in other words, they're connected to a nervous system in the tissues. And then you've got the basophils that circulate. Water and salt are the best natural antihistamines. Not that we want to get rid of histamine, but we want to allay anxiety that there is no water in the body, so that it doesn't overreact, because histamine can become very insistent. It is a ruthless neurotransmitter because survival depends on a very strict rationing system, and histamine exercises that strict rationing system in the body when it's dehydrated. Histamine is with us from minute one of life. This is a just fertilized ovum before it divides into two daughter cells in order to become two new cells that give life to a human body. This cell has got histamine-releasing properties. So histamine is a very important element in our lives from minute one of life. It regulates the cation exchange in the cell. It liberates energy for cation exchange. When water is not around, it brings circulation to the area in order for the cell to expand 75% of its volume in water before it can divide. Between the ages of minute 1 to 9 months, histamine regulates, and with growth hormone and mother's hormones, regulates the water intake of the cell, and of course placental hormones. And after childbirth, growth hormone and histamine, And at the age of 25 onwards, we lose growth hormone, but histamine is still active. We gradually lose growth hormone, and we lose our perception of thirst because of our lifestyle problems, and we gradually become dehydrated because there isn't a growth hormone there. But if we stimulate, if we take water on a regular basis and stimulate a tryptophan transport across the blood-brain barrier and manufacture serotonin, growth hormone is directly under the influence of serotonin. So growth hormone production will continue as long as we are hydrated. So what is the message of all this? It's persistent dehydration that causes pain and disease in the human body. Persistent unintentional dehydration reveals itself in as many ways as we in medicine have labeled as disease conditions. The new medical truth is you're not sick, you're thirsty. Don't treat thirst with medication. Now the question arises, if someone had just arrived and hadn't heard me talking, and or they were stuck on a question that's been bothering them for some time, how come water and salt act as medication in so many health problems? The answer is because they correct persistent dehydration inside all cells of the body. In dehydration, by the way, these are slides that were, permission was given to me to use by Elan Sun Star from Hawaii. They're magnificent slides of water, and this artist is focused on water for some time and produced a lot of good slides, and I've been given permission to use them in this capacity. Most important amino acids are used as antioxidants in dehydration. You've seen these field johns or the toilet on board the planes. When there isn't water, they use these chemicals to deodorize and sanitize the refuse that enters into the thing when there is no drainage system. Field johns the same. In the human body, when there isn't enough water to wash the toxic waste away and carry it away from the interior of the cells and exterior of environment of important cells, something has to neutralize this toxic waste. The human body has learned to waste some of its own elements. Tryptophan, tyrosine, methionine, cysteine, and histidine become depleted as a result of dehydration, because some of these are used as antioxidants. They neutralize they take the brunt of the acidity and the chemical toxic, molecular toxic waste. Now we come to